Hello everyone, my name is Rona and welcome to Decor and Design DIY. Today we are going to start working on part 4, which I'm very excited to work with you on today. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at part 1, 2, and 3, you can jump in on any one of these videos. I'm going room to room in this floor plan. So today we're going to take this rather small master bedroom and really turn it into a warm and somewhat masculine retreat. We're going to install this closet right here along this wall right here. So in order to get to the items we need for the bedroom, let's click on the More button, which will then open up all of the subcategories that we'll need to take a look at. I'm not looking for an armoire. I'm actually looking for a wardrobe or closet. So let's select wardrobes. And there are a lot of options. I think I'm going to go with this item here. And of course we know that this is a little sticky and we want to be able to size it so that it goes in this direction and it doesn't look like it's going to fit. So what I'm going to do is just hold it right here, bring in those adjustment circles so that we'll be able to turn it and then back it into that area. Click off to deactivate it and then click it, and let's see if we can move it to the correct position, and then we'll resize it so that it can fit perfectly into that area. Now let's turn around and take a look at that. I want to click off. I want to deselect it so then I can take my viewer and turn it around. And then we're going to back up so we can see exactly how it looks in the space. So that's not bad. Okay. We also, if you haven't noticed, we also have a very teeny tiny bathroom for this space. And the door will always stay closed even though you have the door swing. But I like the way that they extend the door swing so that you can make sure that you don't place any furniture in the path of the door swings on any of the rooms. So we know that this room, this master bedroom, has a master bath. And so you will definitely see what the after design looks like for that space. Want to concentrate on, again, adding the elements that we need for this room. So the next thing now that I'm going to do is add windows, and I want the windows along this wall. So for windows, we don't go to catalog, we go to building. And then we'll look for the wall category and then select more. So if you want to learn how to add openings to walls and windows, be sure to check out that video. There is a tooltip video on walls and windows. So the window that I'm going to select is this generic window right here. It will eventually catch up with you. Be patient with it. It's quite sticky, so it wants to hang out in other places. But keep moving it to the location. So what we're going to try to do is just place these along this wall with even space in the middle, and then we're going to duplicate this window. So while it's selected, I'm going to do a control copy, and then I'm going to do a control paste. And there's the second window. And I'm going to just move it in. I'm going to move it in so that it's somewhat equal distance from this corner and this. So you have to eyeball it in order for that to happen. So select it, and that way you can move it, make those adjustments. And that looks about right. Click off. And I'm going to open up the 3D viewer and just turn it so that I can see that that looks pretty good. It's usually the windows and the window treatments that give you the most heartache when you're pulling together your floor plans. But be patient, and eventually you'll get the hang of it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this guy back, the viewer back, and we're going to bring in the bed and set up this room so that you can get a good perspective of what the spacing requirements are when you're working with a smaller home floor plan. Let's go to the catalog. And because we were already in the bedroom category, it will open in that category. But if you want to go back to the main catalog and choose from the, let's just do a quick demo. If you haven't had a chance to see part 1, 2, or 3, it'll take you back to the main selections, but you can easily get back to what you were looking for. So now we're going to be looking for bedroom furniture, or a bed for this space. Okay. Now, again, this is an opportunity for you to add items, delete items, get a look and feel that you prefer. When you roll over each of the images, it'll tell you what the sizes are. For example, this one says it's a rolling king size. And so if you have a tiny floor plan and you want to position a king size bed in that room for spatial reasons, just to see what the circulation would be like on each side of the bed or in front of the bed, this is a good place to do that. So then you don't make the mistake of ordering an item that will just not fit or will not have the proper scale in your space. Now, I've gone ahead of time and I've actually created that floor plan. So you'll see the after here shortly. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the bed that I'm looking for. Perfect. I'm not going to use the canopy style, although I do really like that. The poster bed, rather. I think it's very sexy, but for this tutorial, I want to go with a more practical option. Once you get into position, click off to the side, and then move it to the desired location. Now I want to leave a little space on each side of the bed because I want to add nightstands or night tables. So I want a table here and I want a table over here. I'm going to click off and just readjust it just a little bit more. Perfect. It's important to have circulation around the room so that you can walk around freely without bumping into different furniture. And we'll do a video on that too so that you understand more in depth what the spatial and circulation requirements are, especially if you are doing some type of design for individuals who need special arrangements in terms of maybe physical disabilities, wheelchair access, that kind of thing. The next piece of furniture that I'm going to add is a dresser. So I'm going to click on the dresser link so that it will just narrow our choices. But feel free to click on the More button, and that way you'll be able to open up everything in that category. Because when you click on the link, sometimes it will limit your choices. This is the one that I chose for the demo, so that was pretty easy to find. It's all over the place. Just hang out in the general location where you want your furniture to go, and you should be able to place it. Click off and take a look at it. And we'll go in and just make sure everything's in there. I want to go ahead and try to get as many pieces in here as possible. The next item that I'm going to add to this room is a flat screen television. So I'm going to go back to the catalog. And of course, the last thing that we opened was the bedroom furniture. So we're going to click on catalog and go back out. Scroll down to where are my TV? Where are my... If you ever get into a situation where you're not quite... Oh, electronics. All right, so here are the electronics, televisions. There are a lot of options here, but because it's a bedroom, I did not want to put a large flat screen in the bedroom. We actually added a flat screen to the I believe it was a 50-inch in the dining room of this floor plan. That has a stand, so we want the flat screen size. And the one thing that I do love about this software is that it shows you the real time, like what's going on in your 3D view right here. See how it's placed a little bit too close to the drawer? Well, again, we can toggle in and out of this environment. Let's deselect it and click on the resize buttons. Go into the 3D, select the item from there, and whenever you have these arrows available, I would use the arrows. And times when you cannot, because sometimes these arrows go up under this menu, use these little blue lines here. And I'm going to see if I can do the same thing. There you go. But we want it to be somewhat at eye level so that when the person is laying down, it's not that much of a strain. You don't want to anchor your television or bolt it or anchor it so high up that it's causing neck strain. They have formulas for that. And it's interesting how they come up with the exact eye level based on what's going on in that space and based on the distance. But generally speaking, the goal is to place things between 5 foot and like 5'5". So 5'5" is pretty high, but 5'2", which is my height. So whatever Rona's height is where I usually put my art as well as my flat screen televisions. All right, so it's coming along. Now what I'll go ahead and do is to the window here, I'll go ahead and add the blinds and then the curtains because those are very tricky. I didn't want to take up too much time adding those things, but because I want you to see how that works, and the more practice you get, the better you will become at it. You're going to have windows in pretty much every room of your home, so it's best to learn that as quickly or master that skill as quickly as you can. Normally, window treatments and things are found under one of the main categories, and then you can kind of narrow. See, there's curtains right there. So I'm going to wait for this to load. And let's select curtains. Excellent. Now I want to put blinds in this space. That says curtain, but it isn't a curtain. These are the horizontal blinds. Let's go with this. And you see how I'm actually placing it in the 3D version? This tool has a lot of positive aspects to it. This tool, this can really be an incredible tool. And what we'll do is we'll select it and see if we can copy and paste it in here. All right, so we copied and pasted it. And what we're going to do is bring it over to this space and position it and click so you can deselect. All right, so the only thing now that we have to do is I want to go back out real quick, and I want to take this guy here and move him into the space and turn him so that I can really see that wall. I want to position him so that we can really get a good look at that wall, because the blinds are a little bit wider than the window. And because I am a perfectionist at heart, there's some things I'll let slide, but I can't let that slide. So the window and the treatment are so close. The best way to tackle this is I'm going to move the floor plan over a little bit, zoom in. And that way then you can select just the blind, and you can see it highlight there, and then you can manipulate it. I'm just going to resize it so that it fits exactly inside of the window. Deselect. And now it looks like it's not filled in as much as it can be. That looks good. And then we'll do the same thing. Okay, that looks great. And now what we're going to do is add a layer of another treatment, which would be the actual curtains. And so for that, I'm going to bring this back up here. Go back into the catalog. It should take us back to curtains, which it did, which is great. And then we'll just scroll. I believe that I chose this treatment here, which has grommets, so which are little holes in the top of the drape that you then insert the pole into. But you'll see for yourself here shortly. Where are you? All right, here. And once want you to go up against this wall on the inside. And I'm going to bring it out, and then I'm going to go into the 3D because that's looking real, very weird. So I want to bring it down. There we go. I'm going to bring it down to the floor. And that's pretty wide. And we don't want it to do that. And what we're going to do is once we size this to this window, we're going to just make a duplicate and then slide it over to the other one. So let's go back to the floor plan to do that. Because as you can see here, it is extra wide. Again, if you're not able to see the parts and pieces, just zoom in and hover over the object that you're trying to select. Check your window over here. Make sure you've highlighted it. And then just start making your adjustments. That looks pretty good. It'll look better once we're in the 3D version. Just make a copy and paste. And then we'll bring that one in and place it in a similar position on the second window. And then deselect. All right, now let's zoom back out and make this floor plan a little bit smaller, and then let's extend this and go in and look at how that looks with the 3D viewer. The best way to fix that where the curtains are blending into the wall is to go to your floor plan, and let's just enlarge it just a little bit. Select it. Be careful to select the right thing. And then I'm wondering if I can use my keyboard to move it out just a little bit. Perfect. And we'll do the same. Select. So in the real world, your curtains would be hanging from a pole, and it's highly likely that there'll be brackets that hold the poles to the wall. So your window treatment will be somewhat off of the wall, as you can see in this illustration here. And we'll select, and we'll just click off of that so that deselects it. So it's really starting to take shape. The next thing I'm going to do is find a night table for both sides of the bed. And I don't want them to be matchy. I want them to be mismatched, because I wanted to have that eclectic look and not the, whole matchy ensemble that you would get from most stores. If you were ordering a bedroom suit, you'd get 2 dressers and a nightstand, or armoire and 2 night tables. Or this gives you the ability to look at just how well you can still bring a room together. Say, for example, you had a night table and then you went and bought another set, a bedroom suite of furniture, and you actually decided to, as a part of the ensemble, selected one of the night tables to go with it. Well, you'll have the set that goes with the bed and the dresser, if that's what you like, and then a piece that you actually kept to put back into your floor plan. So that just gives it a more, to me, like it's not so matchy, and it looks like it's just planned that way. So you'll see what I mean here shortly. We're going to go ahead and go to the catalog. Click on the word catalog. That takes you back to the main menu. And my voice is leaving me, but we're going to get through this. Night tables. Specifically, I want to go to that link. And there are two that I chose. I think I can recognize them. New items are always being added to the inventory, which is really cool. I selected this one and I put it over here. Now, again, I leave it away from the wall because I may have to turn it around. So I'm going to take my viewer and move it over here and then turn it towards the direction of the nightstand, night table. And of course, it is turned around, as you can see. So we're going to click on that circle to activate it so that we can now turn around our furniture. Perfect. And then deselect. And now you can push him a little bit closer to the wall. Great. Deselect. All right. The next item that I'm going to select is actually a table lamp. And it's not in here, so we can't jump to it. I'm going to see where that would be located. I'm thinking there's a section called lighting, and we want a table lamp. So we're going to select that link. Okay, so again, there are so many different options, but I want to make this as, I like this look. I like the squared look. Okay, so let's go with this one. Simply because it matches that table. And, you know, this is subjective. You can experiment with different options. That's entirely up to you. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some artwork to the walls, and then we'll show you the after so that you can get a sense of the details that it takes really to pull a room together. Now, I decided for this room that I was going to add artwork to this space here. And if you draw this guy back, I'm also going to add artwork above the bed frame. And then I'm also going to add a piece of art to this wall as you come into the closet area. So I'm going to add art there as well. And for this room, because I told you it was somewhat masculine, I will do the last room that we do, which is another bedroom, will be the feminine option so that you can see some of the selections that I make for that space. Okay, so now we're going to go look at the art. Go back to the word catalog and then scroll down to art and decor and then select art and posters. There were several nautical type options that were available and I chose those. I want a long piece, a horizontal piece for the bed frame. Something similar to this, but not that item itself. There's some cool options in here. And if you're not able to find exactly what you're looking for, don't worry about it because you'll be able to find art in. You can also go to art.com and they have a website and they have so many genres and different artists, and it's just you could get lost on that website. But I love it because it allows you to modify the frame. You can order a thick frame, a thin frame. So it really gets into, I'm going to go with this one just to see how it it fits above the bed. It's a pretty long piece. And what we're going to do is leave it where it is for now, because we need to position our viewer right in front of the bed. Cool. Now, I actually love this art. It's perfect. It fits. And ironically, though, in the finished product, that's a different horizontal picture. And so what I'm going to do is, while I'm doing my demos, of course, I pick certain things based on the room and the vibe that we're trying to create. But this is just a good example of all of the different options that are available. When you see the finished product, I'll show you that horizontal image as well, and you decide. I like this one too, so this would be the second option that I would select. And of course, when you're placing art, you can treat it similar to how you make the adjustments for the window treatments. If you need to get in there real good, just zoom in, because see, it's very difficult to see. You got to zoom in and you end up selecting other items, but there is an opportunity for you to select it right there, which is really hard to see if you're looking at it probably from where you're looking. But generally speaking, that's exactly what you would do. And then you can select it here, and it should give you the blue dots around the image that allows you to make those changes and adjustments. But I'm going to leave this just the way that it is because it looks really good. All right, I don't like to see that floor highlighted because that allows me to make changes, and we're going to leave that there for now. All right, we're going to add another nautical type image here. This image is of a harbor with boats. And that looks about right. But again, I'm going to go inside and see exactly how it's placed. Remember, use your mouse to go in and out. And remember, if you're near a door, if you keep going backwards, eventually you'll disappear behind the door. This is a little high, so I'm just going to select it and bring it down if it allows me to. Yay. Click and drag. Okay, we don't want it that low, but that's about eye level. So we do want it to be somewhere in that range, in that height range. So it's starting to look good. All right, we're about 50% completed. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward so that you can see the finished product. So now we're about 50% completed here, and that's about a good time so that this video doesn't go on and on. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward so you can see the finished product. Okay, so here we are, the finished product, and I'm going to minimize the floor plan a little bit so that we can take a really good look at our 3D image. Want to move him up just a little bit. There we go, move him over just a little bit so that I can really show you. All right, perfect. This space. And then we'll take our little guy here. Once we click on this resize button, we'll be able to go inside of this image and move around. Actually look at all of the items that were added. So you can see the art above the bed frame. There's some art here between the window treatments, and there is also art here in front of the closet. I also added this neat little wardrobe gadget here that you can hang your dresses or your suit jackets or your slacks or whatever, and then a hat or something here that you want to use maybe once you get home from work and you're undressed, or you're getting ready for the next day and you want to pick out your clothes ahead of time. So I added that into the space. I'm going to come back just a little bit. Now remember what we did in that tutorial. If you go back too far, you'll go through the door and blurs everything out. But that's okay. Just use your mouse wheel to come back into the photo. And as you can see here, I'm going to move in front of the bed. I'm going to try to by zooming in. And then turning around a little bit here so you can see. I come in over here. I'm going to go back over here. All right. And there's the art that I wanted to compare to the demo that I was doing. It's still nautical. The other one was like, I think some kind of clouds, but it's still the same width. And it's a horizontal image, which really looks good. And then there you have the, I'm going to scoot back. Scrolling with my mouse, you can see the other night table that I added, and just put some magazines over there just so that it wasn't, again, we're trying not to be too matchy. Sometimes people want symmetry and they want everything to match, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. So I'm going to come over here now. Let me zoom out just a little bit, and I want to go this way. Remember, those arrows can help guide you as well. So don't worry whenever he's out of that floor plan. When he's out of the floor plan, don't worry. Just resize, go out of your 3D view and locate this guy here and then bring him back in. Hey, stuff happens. All right. And so you want to be careful when you're scrolling back. But all I wanted to do was pan the space. And when you click and hold your mouse, that allows you to pan in space. So getting back to what we were reviewing, we added the 2 coffee tables. We added an image here above the bed, and we added a ceiling light, ceiling fan. We also put a hook on the door because the bathroom is super cramped. And I'm going to show you that fairly quickly here. Now this looks weird. This is like a side table, and you see these in living rooms, and also they're, you can use it by the bed when you want to sit like a cup of coffee or a glass or a cup, or even an object like what I did here. I'm just basically using this side table, and I'm also using it as a place to display a plant, but it's actually a functional piece of furniture. And you'll see this a lot, especially in living rooms, when you want to just pull up a half of a table, set a plate down, or a dish or a glass of water or something to that effect. But that's what I use for that, because I didn't want to put another nightstand in there. I didn't want to put a big credenza or half table or anything like that. I wanted it to be something that would allow people to move in and out of the space. Now, getting back to the bathroom. Again, like I said, it's super tiny, but we're going to go in. So I'm going to take this guy here, and I'm going to move into the bathroom. Now, I always like to point out disadvantages and downsides to this software. There are a lot of ups. There are more advantages and upsides to it, or positives, than there are negatives. So I added a shower door. I added the shower head, and I added this hardware so you can turn a shower on and off. I also added a beautiful, like a herringbone tile feature, which is gray, and it matches the floor, which you will see shortly. But I'm going to just pan this room so you can see how extremely tiny it is, first of all. and that I added your typical sink, mirror, a shelf here, and everything, as you can see, has the chromed out look until you get to, and they may have to address this and fix it, until you get to the toilet paper dispenser. Let's go back in. Until you get to the toilet paper dispenser, it's gold. And I could not find one in the bathroom section for nothing. I looked everywhere. So, like I said, there are some things that you just won't be able to do in here, but we're just placing items in this space. So for this demo here, it's perfectly okay. If you were going to make a copy of this and of your floor plan, this floor plan, and have placement just so that you know where things go, you're not going to make a big deal out of that color. But you wouldn't want to have a designer, or anyone for that matter, use mix matched, for them to use mix matched fixtures rather. And so that's the downside. And it looks like they're actually touching, and I'm trying to position this so that you can see that it is not. So I'm going to bring him in a little bit. There you go. And it's very cramped, but I was able to carry that tile theme on into the shower and up the wall, just for a special effect, to kind of give you a different perspective. But in real life, I would not use a gold toilet paper dispenser. So I just want to state that for the record. But it's a neat little space. And when we do additional videos, we're going to use this floor plan. We're going to renovate, and we're going to make this space bigger for the master suite. So that means we're going to have to take out some walls and do some other stuff. But that will be in a future video. So I just want you to stay tuned and look out for that. For those of you who have older homes and you want to reimagine it and you want to take walls down, this is the perfect software to do that. Okay, so now we're going to move back out into the space, and that wraps up the design for this space. Again, it's not that big, but as you can see, you're still able to address a majority of the items here that would make it a functional space. I put the hook out there so you can hang your robe or a towel outside of the bathroom if you wanted to, and also added some sconces for a little ambiance, and a wicker basket to place clothing. So it all comes together. There's a mirror over there, so we really tried to maximize the space. And here is that gray herringbone rug that I added to this floor plan as well. So this was a fun project to work on. Now in the next video that we're going to do, which it will be part 5, which is the hall bathroom, which is shared by the entire space. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you hadn't had a chance to check out 1, 2, or 3, feel free to go back and look at those. They're all very different, and they're showing you different techniques in each of the videos. My goal is to have you be able to create your own floor plan so that when we do have our consult, you'll be able to send that to me, and I'll be able to make changes to it or make improvements to it if needed. And if you happen to be interested in a consultation, I do virtual consultations as well as in-person consultations. So if you are in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, in certain counties that I'm willing to drive to, I would be willing to even show up and just do a walkthrough and give you some feedback and tips on a starting point for your new home design, or even if you have an existing space and you want to reimagine that space. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and like this content. Thank you again, and I'll see you in part 5 of Decor and Design DIY. Take care.